Oh dear, where's the 2? There's supposed to be a 2 right here, and it has gone missing. Don't worry, I'll find it. Just imagine this. This is a 2. 1, 2. Hi there, it's Christy with the Chirp YouTube channel. This is the next video in my little mini series on how to assess an upset child and how to help, not just assess, but also assist an upset child. Now, there are already 3 other videos in this little series. I will put a link to them up here so that you can see them. And this is video number 4 in the series. Our first step was to watch for any emotional signals / nonverbal communication that we might be seeing from the child. Our second step is to watch for sensory needs that the student might have, or the child who might be a student, or who might be your own child, or who might be someone else somewhere else. The third step was to listen to verbal communication that the child might be giving you. And this is our fourth step. Our fourth step is going to be experiment with soothing comments, soothing words, and other calming things. Since we know that the child is upset, and we have already worked our way through some things that might help the kid feel better, such as certain sensory techniques, certain emotional regulation helps. Since we are tuned in now to the child's communication patterns, how many words the child is using, if the child is verbal at all, we've already sort of tuned in to these things. Now we can experiment with how it works to provide soothing inputs to the child. We've already done some of that with the sensory stuff, the emotional stuff. This is more of a strategies step. For example, I talked about a child in one of the previous videos who got really upset if we just left her alone to work through her upsetness. We stopped leaving her alone because she would ramp up if we left her alone. Most kids kind of spiral out of their upsetness if you back off and give them some space. But this child was unique. So we experimented and we found for her, we created a visual for her. This is a calming down visual. Oh dear, where's the 2? There's supposed to be a 2 right here, and it has gone missing. Don't worry, I'll find it. Just imagine this. This is a 2. 1, 2. Okay. 1, quiet voice, quiet arms, quiet legs. Then, and we would have a bunch of pictures on the back that we knew were helpful to her. She liked to read the 5 Little Monkeys book, she liked to walk outside, and she really liked fruit snacks. These were her favorite. So when she was upset, we would walk through this with her, very calmingly and soothingly. First, oh, and by the way, she was really aggressive when she was upset. So she would scream, she would hit, and she would kick us. This is why we picked this. If you have a child who says swear words, who bites you, you probably still want to use quiet voice. We always want to phrase these also in the positive. You don't want to say no screaming, no hitting, no kicking. We want to remind the child of what she should be doing rather than what she's doing already with just an X through it. Kids' brains don't process a negative. When you say no hitting, what they hear is hitting. So they do more hitting. If you say no screaming, what they hear is screaming. So they do more screaming. Instead, we want to say quiet voice, quiet arms, quiet legs. Yours might be different. And I am using the Boardmaker program. I'll put a link. I think I pretty much always have a link to Boardmaker down below. There are some other programs that are fine, but Boardmaker is my favorite because look how cute and simple these are. So we would remind her, first, quiet voice, quiet arms, quiet legs. Then, this is the 2, then, and we would give her an opportunity to choose. If she was too upset, we'd pick for her. Then, fruit snacks. We would keep this in front of her. We would sit with her. She benefited from us rubbing her arms, just very gently rubbing her arms, rubbing her legs. And we would remind her, first, quiet voice, quiet arms, quiet legs. Then, fruit snacks. We didn't use too excited of a voice. We tried to stay very calm and not react to anything that she might do. And we kept reminding her of all the joy that was to come when she was all done being upset. Sometimes we just need to remind kids that there is another side. This is going to end and something better is going to be on the other side of it. So let's end it quicker. Sometimes that helps. It also can help to have a board of options for what kids can do when they are upset. Once you know the kids a little bit, you can put together personalized boards like this for the kids. This was for 2 little guys in my classroom who tended to be very aggressive when they were upset, which was a lot. They experienced a lot of their emotions as anger. And so we wanted to have some options for them when they were angry, that were not throwing things or hitting. So we had activities in the classroom that fit all of these little strategies. Of course, time alone is a good one. We had a table in the corner that we would put blankets over and pillows underneath, and the kids could go in there and have some time alone. Squeeze. This could mean that we squeeze the child, like a big squeeze, big hugs, or it could mean that we did have pillows and other toys in the classroom that kids could squeeze. It depends on what works for the kid. We have some stretching activities. Sometimes being inverted, being upside down, is helpful to some kids. So we could do some yoga exercises. We could just get upside down somehow. That sometimes helps. We had items that they could pull. We had some stretchy, like those bands that you might use at physical therapy, and we could hold on to one end and the kid could pull on the other end. That can be very soothing. We had some things to gnaw on and bite. Those could be super calming for many kids. Lifting heavy things. We had a lot of heavy boxes. We had some, we could in fact move the tables around if we wanted to, and the kids could have one end. We had a swing in the classroom. It wasn't always a good time for a kid to swing, but it's available if a kid really needs to calm down, and that's what he picks. Also, we had squeeze balls, which are good for the hands. Sometimes a kid needs like a full body squeeze, and sometimes just something to squeeze on. Having something like this, once you know the kid a little better, offering it to the child, let's do something that makes me feel better. Here are some ideas. I'm going to bite. I need to bite something, Miss Christie. I'm modeling for the student how he could ask for something that he needs. I'm modeling how he can pick out an activity that's going to be soothing and calming. I'm modeling how to ask for it. Miss Christie, I need the bands. I need to pull on them, please. I can model these things. So I'm helping the kid. I've talked in previous videos about scaffolding and about how a lot of times the kids can't reach that higher level skill. Figuring out what our own emotions are, what our options are for dealing with those emotions, and then how to get those options. This is a very complex thing. I bet you're not even so good at it in your own life. You come home from work, at least I'm not. You come home from work, you feel a little churned up inside. You're not really sure why. Maybe, and you have to think about it. You have to cogitate for a while. It was that thing that coworker said that made it sound like I'm not good at my job. And that's made me feel kind of queasy, and it's made my head hurt. And so now you know what caused this emotion, but it took a while, at least if you're like me. But you still don't know what to do with it. Because you're an adult, maybe you're better at this than a kid, but most of us aren't. So maybe you just kind of try to let it pass from your mind. The problem is that doesn't work. When we try to ignore emotions, they get buried, but they don't go away, and they can build up. Instead, what we need to be doing is we need to be coping with them in wise and healthy ways. So now, when I realize that my stomach is upset and I have a headache because somebody said something that really hurt my feelings, first I pay attention to those physical feelings. My stomach's upset, my head hurts. What was it that led me to this emotional state? I think it was that comment that so-and-so made that made me feel like I'm not good at my job. That hurts my feelings. I might talk to somebody about that. I might just say, my feelings got hurt today, and I need to find a way to deal with that. I could talk to God. I could talk to a family member. I could journal about that. Those are some options. It also makes me feel better to get some physical exercise. I work out emotions through running, through stretching, through riding my exercise bike. There are all sorts of different physical activities that can really help us feel better, which is why this thing has so many different physical activities on it. A lot of adults might also choose to take a bath or light some candles or listen to some soothing music. I used to have a music on here too, but I think it got lost. It was a picture of a kid with headphones on listening to music, which I think I took it off because I didn't have that in my classroom that kids could listen to, a little mini MP3 player or something. But in my next classroom, that is something that I will definitely invest in, because that can be very soothing for everyone. If I'm having a bad day, it could help me too. Those kind of things, a bath, candles, soft music, or maybe crazy music that makes you, jam a little bit so that you can release some aggression. These things are sensory techniques too. It's not just biting on something or lifting something heavy, although those help adults as well as kids. All those things, the bathtub, the candles, they are affecting your sensory system, which in turn can help you deal better with your emotions. So these kind of strategies are very good for kids, but also for us grown-ups. As you are presenting kids with these ideas, make sure that you're following the rules from the previous videos. So if the child is nonverbal, you don't want to be using more than 1 to 2 words in a phrase. If the child is using 1 word, you can use 2 to 3 words. You just want to bump it up slightly for reasons discussed in that video. And we want to make sure that our voice is not too peppy, not depressed, we're not Eeyore, and we're not Tigger. We're right in the middle, like Winnie the Pooh. We want to make sure that we're not waving our hands around too much. Our eyebrows are not too high, our eyes are not too big. We're very calm. We're very matter of fact. We speak as if we know the child is going to calm down at any moment. It's no big deal. We all get upset. It's all right. You'll be done soon. Calming phrases like that. Imagine. I find it very easy to imagine being these kids. I don't know if it's because I don't have my own biological children, or if it's just because I have a really good memory of having been a child. I find it easy to put myself into their situation. If you don't find that very easy, take a little bit of time to envision being a child, being out of control in almost every area of your life, because you're not the one making the decisions in your life. Your family makes the decisions. You may have a terrible family. Some of the kids who come to me don't have great families. Not that their families don't love them necessarily, but maybe they don't have the skills to do what I would consider to be the best kind of parenting techniques. Not every family is great at parenting. Most people just come to it because they had a kid, and now what do? You have to parent to some degree. Just take a few minutes and soak in what it feels like to not be in control, to have some needs that you don't know how to communicate. Imagine your worst day of coming home from work and being upset and not knowing why, and then layer on top of that the idea that you don't even know the words to express what you're feeling, and you don't have a way to get help for them, and you don't have any strategies because you're not experienced. Maybe you're 3 years old. You don't know that maybe biting on something hard is going to help you. You don't know that maybe some time alone will calm your sensory system. You have no idea. All you know is things are not right, and you don't know how to get help. You don't know how to come out of it. And in fact, you don't know if you will come out of it because your life has been so short that this instance seems really long. This might be the new normal for you. It can be overwhelming to think of what it's like for these poor little people in their little brains and their little bodies. And it's our job as the ones who are capable of it to imagine being those kids and to respond in kind and patient ways. Soothing, calming, offering strategies where we can, being patient and kind. I hope someone's being patient and kind with you today. And if no one else is, God is, and you can be patient and kind with yourself. I'm going to go do that. I hope you are too. I also hope that you have a wonderful week. I will see you back here next week with the brand new video. Thanks for watching. Oh, YouTube told me I should remind my viewers to click the bell and to subscribe because it helps all of the things that they do behind the scenes that will help other people find videos that are meaningful to them. So I would appreciate it if you did that. Also, pass any videos on that you find helpful. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.